This is about controlling your activity and your attitude. And it's funny because this is something that my dad has preached to me probably since I was 10 or 11 years old. And it's something that another buddy of mine, whose father also is a good friend of my father's, has been preached to him since he was probably 10 or 11 years old. And what I found out is this isn't a new idea. Here I thought my dad was this, genius, and which, don't get me wrong, he definitely is a very, very smart man and hardworking man. But this is something I discovered today going through Jim Rohn's Living an Exceptional Life DVD, which if you all haven't picked up, beg, borrow, steal, get that from somebody. Jim Rohn, the live DVD presentation, it's only like an hour long, but in there he talks about controlling what? Your activity and your attitude. And it's something that my dad, when I was young, he'd always go, what are the two things you can control, son? Activity and attitude, Dad, right? So anything else that's going on in your day, whether it be work-related, relationship-related, illness, health-wise, whatever, the only two things that you can control every given day is your activity and your attitude. And I'll unpack that here real quick. So first off, let's start with your attitude, because that precedes activity. Your attitude is how you feel about the past and how you refine the mistakes that you've had. So not dwelling there and being a victim, but obviously moving forward and viewing the past as something to learn from. How you feel about the future, your opportunities, the goals you have, what you want for your future, and visualizing that. He talks about making sure you write it all down. Don't just be casual with it, but be very, very specific, writing it all down on paper, and having very, very specific purpose for what you're going to go for your future vision of yourself and your family and your business and all those things. And then also how you feel about yourself, right? So your self-esteem, being able to kind of look yourself in the mirror and know that what you're doing is the right thing towards your given purpose, towards your given goals and such, and so on. So, and doing the things that you require of yourself daily, on a daily basis. So setting the bar high, right, and meeting that bar or exceeding that bar, right? Like Grant Cardone, 10x it, baby, go way above. So that's attitude, right, in a nutshell. How you feel about the past, how you feel about the future, and how you feel about yourself, primarily. And then secondly is activity. So the activity is the work or the labor pains, which I think is a unique way of thinking about this, that although work sometimes can be a drudge and it sucks and it's painful sometimes, what happens to a woman after she's in experiencing labor pains? Well, I can't relate because I'm not a woman, but I have 2 children and 1 on the way, and I know that the miracle that happens after the labor, right? That's why you go through the labor. That's why you go through the pain, because of the miracle that comes out on the end. Because it produces new life. This labor pains that you experience, the hard work that you go through, it's doing the work, right? You create life. You create miracles. If you think about it, it's interesting. Humans are the only organic being, right? We're the only being in existence other than God Almighty, right? But we're the only being here on this earth that can create something from nothing. And if you stop to think about that, what I mean is we can envision something, right? We can envision a future. We can envision a project. We can envision a success for ourselves. We can envision a building or something that we're going to make and build, or a business we're going to build. And we're the only creatures that can envision that, and then within a given period of time, a given period of hard work, a given period of effort and labor pains, create that into something, right? We manifest that into reality. And you think about this too, going to work every day. People take a lot of time off sometimes, and the Almighty, right, has given us a blueprint for how this work-life balance, whatnot, should work. And it starts with 6 days of labor and 1 day of rest. Now, he talks about don't get all that mixed up, because, and I think this is awesome, He says, if you rest too long, the weeds take over the garden. And isn't that true? Like anybody that's ever gardened or done anything, if you don't, or mow the lawn, right? If you don't mow the lawn for weeks on a time, it takes over. And you have so much to get back to. You have so much that you have to try to get on top of again versus just, hey, keeping everything in check and keeping the, like Nick Nyber talks a bunch about, keeping the wheel moving, right? Turn your crank, keep the wheel moving. And so this activity finishes the miracle. And he talks about too how, when we turn nothing into something, we start with imagining the possibilities, and then we have faith that they are possible. So two things. We have imagination, which we can never lose, and faith. That's the two critical cruxes of creating something from nothing. And then we must deposit both of these, he says, into activity. So it means we need to go to work, and we need to learn to appreciate the work, because it's something that we were made here to do. So I just wanted to share that. I thought, wow, that really unpacked attitude, activity, two things that my dad's been preaching to me for years, of the only two things we can control every single day. And it's a great reminder, if inconveniences or things happen to us during the day, what can we do? We can only control ourselves and what we do with that information or with that outcome or that circumstance. Control your activity, guys. Control your attitude. Create your future, and go to work.